Okay. All right. So right now it's 7 p.m. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay. I want to thank you for hopping on today's webinar. As you know, this is the first time we're doing a spinal care class online. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some learning curve I got to go through, especially that I'm not very familiar or feel comfortable talking to the machine. So if I run into any hiccups, just be patient with me on that. Okay. All right. And I do have a lot of information I want to share with you, so we're going to go right into it. Okay. Okay, the reason that we're doing spinal care class is that we want you to know more about your health and your spine, because the more that you know, the better you will be able to take care of yourself. Basically, that's what it is. Last while we used to do a monthly spinal care class in the office, and obvious because of COVID-19, that's why we're doing it online now. Okay. And this is what we usually cover in our class. We do the 5 elements to healthier life, which is a specific chiropractic care, the big idea. The number 2 is eat well, which is your nutrition. The number 3 is move well, which is your exercise. Number 4 is rest well, which is sleeping system. And the number 5 is what we call the think well, which is a positive mental attitude. And we'll also cover the phases of care. Now, because I understand that because today we're doing a webinar, there's a good chance that I may lose you after 20 to 30 minutes. That's why today we're only going to cover the element number 1, number 2, and number 6. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. So at the beginning of a spinal care class, I like to use this quote as a way to set the foundation of the presentation. This is from Thomas Edison. He once said that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of a human frame, in diet, and in the cause and the prevention of disease. So that means that for being a good doctor, not only you need to come up with the right diagnosis and the treatments, but you also need to spend time to understand your patient's composition, and as well as the blood and also the nutrition, and to understand what's really causing the disease, so we can really to achieve what we call the preventative medicine. Okay. And that is also why after 4 years of chiropractic college, I also spent 2 years of additional time to study for the functional medicine, because I believe that by combining the nutrition as well as a chiropractic, now I can give a patient the best environment to grow and to heal. And that is also why in our office, we see all kinds of patients, right? We see as little as a little baby from 3 weeks old to all the way up to 95, 96 years old. That's because we'll use what we call a non-invasive way to give their body a good environment to nourish themselves so they can heal better. Okay. All right. So let's talk about chiropractic care. Okay. When I talk about a chiropractic, most people will think about a few things. They think about like lower back pain. They talk about, it's not starting. Oh, is that right? Are we having issue? I'm not, I think I'm letting people in. No? Oh, is that right? Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Ah, okay. Oh, I gotta let people in? Oh, I'm sorry. I was already talking. Okay. Okay, now I think we're in the, now we're actually started. Okay. All right. So I apologize. I thought I let everybody in, but apparently I gotta click on in so we can start. Okay, let's start again. All right. Let's start over again. I apologize. So I know there's something's wrong with that. Okay. All right. Okay. So I hope you guys in, and let's go and get things started. Okay. So as you know, right, this is the first time I'm doing a spinal care class online. That's why there's some learning curve that we got to go through, and apparently we just had one. Especially I'm not feel comfortable talking to the machine. So if there's any hiccup or challenges, just be patient with me. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and start again. Now I do have a lot of information I wanted to share with you. So we're going to go ahead right into it. Now we do monthly spinal care class because the reason that we're doing that is we basically want you to know more about your health know more about your spine. And this is what we usually cover in our spinal care class. We do 5 elements to healthier life. Number 1 is specific chiropractic care. And number 2 is eat well, which is your nutrition. And number 3 is move well, which is exercise. And number 4 is rest well, which is your sleeping system. And then number 5 is think well, which is what we call the positive mental attitude. And your spinal care class will also cover the phases for cares. Now, because we're doing a webinar, so I know that I may lose you after 20 to 30 minutes. So that's why we're only going to cover element 1, 2, and 6. Okay. All right. So at the beginning of a spinal care class, I like to use a quote to set the tone for the foundation of the presentation. So today I use Thomas Edison. He once said that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will interest his patients in the care of a human frame, in diet, and in the cause and the prevention of disease. So in other words, for being a good doctor, not only you need to come up with the right diagnosis, but you also want to take time to understand your patient's body composition as well as his nutrition. So we can really need to look into the true cause of why they have what they have to really achieve what we call the preventative medicine. Okay, so that is also why after 4 years chiropractic college, I spent an additional 2 years to study for the functional medicine, because it is my belief that with the nutrition and the chiropractic combo, we can give patient the best environment to heal, to grow. And that is also why in our office, we see all kinds of patients, right? From as little as 3 weeks old to all the way to 95 or 96, 97 years old. That's because we use a non-invasive way to give them the best environment to nourish themselves so they can get better that way. Okay. All right. Do I need to, I probably need to admit more people to come in, but let me see what's the best way to do that. Is that under the action or, let me see, here we go. Participants, I need to let people come in. All right, here we go. Oh, okay. Okay, so moving on, and I need to get this out of the way here. Okay, all right, so moving on, let's talk about chiropractic care, okay? So when I talk about chiropractic care, most people will think about a few things. They think about the lower back pain, they talk about like a neck pain, sometimes sciatica or numbness tingle that goes on to the hand. But chiropractic is a lot more than that. So let's talk about this. So if you really want to understand the true essence of the chiropractic care, we need to start from the beginning. Okay. So as you can see from this animation over here, you see that the sperms are working really hard to try to get into the egg, try to fertilize that egg, right? And once it has done its job, then the egg will start to reproduce and the cell divide up to the point that you can start to see the fetus inside the womb, right? But did you know that before you can see the fetus, there's one system that's already up and running to make sure everything's working correctly? And that system is what we call the central nervous system, okay? So as you can see from here, the central nervous system, which is this yellow thing right here, which consists of the brain and the spinal cord, okay? So I'll repeat that one more time. Your central nervous system is 2 parts, which is your brain and then your spinal cord, okay? And your central nervous system is very important because they are the central conductor of your body. They're the one tells the body when to start develop. We'll talk about every single cell, every single organ, every single system are all controlled and coordinated by this central nervous system. And that is why with the pregnant mom, we always tell them that you wanted to take a lot more folic acid and omega-3 because these are the 2 essential nutrition to help the baby's central nervous system work correctly. Okay. All right, as we grow older, things are still the same, things don't change. Your central nervous system is still your brain and your spinal cord. And then again, they control everything in the body. We'll talk about your respiratory system. We'll talk about your digestive system. We'll talk about your immune system. We'll talk about your hormonal system. Everything can be traced back into your central nervous system. That's why central nervous system is so important for your health. Okay. And then you might wonder, if your central nervous system is so important, then there must be a structure in your body in place to protect that central nervous system. And then you're absolutely right. And that is your spine. Okay. All right. So your spine, let's take a look at your spine. Your spine is made of 24 different bones. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I got a little notes right here so that I can make somebody else a co-host so they can let other people in. So in order for me to do that, I don't know how to do that. Do you want, so I do this to make you a host? Is that what it is? I don't know if I can make you a co-host. It says make you as a host. So I'm gonna put you as a host. Okay. All right, so that way she can just let people come in. Okay, all right, so let's talk about the spine. So your spine is made up of 24 different bones, okay? And in between bones, you have what we call the disc. And then it's because of this disc, you're able to move in all directions, like forward, backward, left, right, and rotate it, okay? And let's take a look at your spine. Let's take a look at this third spine over here, which is looking from the side, okay? As looking from the side, your spine should have 3 different curves. You should have a lower back, and the mid back, and the neck, okay? Now, I always tell patients that these curves are very important because not only they make you look very curvy, which is good, but they also have a function. And that function is to make sure that you have what we call the suspension system, okay? Just like your car also have a suspension system. So every time when you drive over the speed bump, the suspension system will help you to dissipate the forces, and that's how you protect your car. Same idea, same principle applied to your spine. Now, when we walk or when we run or when we play basketball, whatever it is that you're doing, we always put some sort of impact of force into the body. But when you have a good curve, it will help you to dissipate that forces. That is why you can protect your spine better. Okay. Now let's take a look at the first and the second spine. The first one is looking from the back, and the second one is looking from the front. Now it does not matter if you're looking from the back or the front, the spine should be straight, right? If your spine is deviated out of the center to the either left or right, when it becomes severe enough, that's what we call the scoliosis. Now scoliosis is very detrimental for a kid's development. Not only that, when it gets older, it can potentially having effect on our organs because it can potentially pinch or crowding our organs, like in your lungs and your heart. That's why we always recommend kids to come to get their spine checked up, because if the scoliosis is not congenital, and if we detect early, then there's a good chance that will help you to reverse that scoliosis or slow down the progress. But if it is congenital scoliosis, then we can definitely manage that better, okay? But scoliosis is a very complex topic, so maybe we can do another webinar about the scoliosis. Okay, all right. So if your spine is very flexible, and we're also using our spine every single second, then that means that your spine are very easy to get out of alignment. And when that happens, we do have a term for that condition in our profession. That term is what we call the subluxation. Okay? If you're breaking down the subluxation, the sub means partial, luxation means dislocation. So put it together, it means that it's not severe enough to become dislocated, but it is severe enough to become misaligned. That's what we call the subluxation. Okay? So let's take a look at this animation over here. When I click on the subluxation, you will see the spine actually rotated, and it will affect the nerve around that joints. That's why you start to have a different kind of discomfort, okay? For a mild condition, you might just have a simple muscle strain or muscle spasming. So if we look at over here, when I rotate that, you will see the muscle fibers are being either pulling on one side or it could be pitching on the other side. So that's why when people have a subluxation or misalignment, they feel that the muscle around that area is always very tight and very tired. That's because the muscle are being affected around that joint area, okay? And if the condition is severe enough, then we can potentially cause the nerve issue, which what we call the neuropathy. For example, if I click on this L5 over here, you can see that the pain starts from the lower back, but you can potentially travel down to your feet, and that's what we call the sciatica pain, right? Same thing can be coming up from the top over here. When we're looking at the top over here, you will see the pain start on your neck and it goes on to your hand, so you can potentially feel the numbness tingling, and that's why the subluxation can potentially cause that. Okay. But of course, we also need to think a little bit more, because we now know that your central nervous system is inside of your spine. So when your spines go out of alignment, it can potentially affecting your central nervous system, which means that your body organs are also being affected. Last one, when I adjust patient, let's say the C7 and T1 area, after I adjust them, and patient want to say, hey, doc, I feel like my lungs can breathe a little better. I can take a deeper breath. Or sometimes patient can tell me that, hey, doc, I feel like my irregular heartbeat gets better. That's because when we adjust you, we don't just adjust the spine, we're also affecting your central nervous system, and that's how you're gonna get better, okay? And that is also why in our office, when we do the new patient initial consultation, we don't just ask you where are the aches and pains, but we also ask you your body system issues, like how's your digestive systems, how's your immune system, or for female, we'll talk about how's your menstrual cycle system, because all these are really good intel to tell us where our potential subluxations are, okay? And then most of you also know that I do a very specific technique. It's called a Gonset technique, which we use an instrumentation to scan your back to see where the potential nerve issues are. And then on top of that, we also use another machine, what we call the myovision, which is an FDA Class 2 diagnostic tool to figure out where are the muscle tension imbalances are on your back. And then lastly, we'll take a full spine x-ray, and then with the full spine x-ray, we do a Gonset analysis to figure out how your misalignment down to the millimeters, so we can give you the best adjustment according to you. So that's why our office is a little bit different, right? Most of you know that, because not only we use a scientific way to assess your spine and your condition, but we're also using a scientific way to track your progress. Okay. All right, so moving on. Okay. So that's why we always say that adaptive chiropractic is, healthy spine equals healthy central nervous system equals healthy body. And adaptive chiropractic, we don't treat anything. Our job is to make sure that the spine is subluxation free, so the body can be in an optimal environment to grow and heal. And then ultimately, that is the true essence of a chiropractic care. Okay. All right, let me have a sip of water. Man, a lot of talking. All right. So now we're going to move into why you have what we call the subluxation. There's a lot of patients ask me that question, right? So here are some of the common causes of why you have a subluxation. And number one is blunt trauma, like a car accident. Now, a lot of patients think that if the car accident is not bad enough, they don't need to come in to get their spine checked. But I'm here to tell you otherwise, because what the scientific research has shown that in the speed between 10 to 15 miles per hour, there's about 40 to 50% the chance that your brainstem will get damaged. That's why we always recommend you to coming after the car accident, even though if it's fender and bender, it's always better for you to get a check. Okay. And the next one out is a sports injury, which we see a lot in our office. It could be improper posture. It could be too heavy or too fast. All this can potentially cause subluxation in your spine. And also for the kids are very prone to get subluxated or misaligned in the spine, because their spine are not set just yet, but they're very active. They're trying all kinds of sports. That's why we always recommend kids to come in to get their spine checked. Okay. The next one is a sleeping posture, right? Or sleeping system. Now, it could be the mattress is too hard, too firm, or too soft, or the pillow is too high or too low, or maybe just the sleeping position is wrong. That's why sometimes we get patients walking the door with a stiff neck and say that, hey, doc, I woke up like this. And then also they have a lot of pain on the side. This is probably due to the sleeping position or system. And this is the accumulation of the day in and day out, the traumas. That's why they have that. That's why we see a lot of cases like that in our office as well. Okay. And then this is the last element that contributes to the subluxation I wanted to cover today, which is your posture. Because nowadays we use a lot of gadgets, right? It could be your cell phone, it could be your laptop, it could be your, tablets, whatever it is. When we use it, you can easily go about 3, 4, or 5 hours a day. Now, this is very bad for your health. Just how bad? And let's take a look. Okay. Now let's take a look at this skeletal over here. Okay. When we first start using our phones or gadgets, we always sit up very straight because we're very mindful about our posture. But maybe about 20 or 30 minutes later, you start to feel tired, start to slouch, and that's why you start to see people's heads start to going forward up to the point that they are complete in front of the body, just like that. Now that is very bad. Why? Let's take a look at it together. This is a good posture. This is where your head sitting on the top of your neck with a perfect curve. This is a perfecto. Everything's working out perfect. But what happens is that when you pull your head forward, let's take a look. Pay attention to this rib muscle fiber over here. Where you do that, you're essentially pulling all the muscles in the back. That's why you start to feeling the tensions or tightness to that area. But one step further, now we know that inside of your spine is what we call the central nervous system. And that's why when you do this, it's also affecting your central nervous system. And while you're doing this, you create what we call the choke point, which can potentially hinder your central nervous system working capacity. That's why we always say that you wanted to have a good posture, because posture is really the window to your health. Because when you have a good posture, your spine is going to be good. If your spine is good, then your central nervous system is good. If your central nervous system is good, then that means that your health is good. So that's why it's always good to have a good posture. Okay. All right. So what is a good sitting posture? Okay. Let's talk about that. Ideally, you should be looking at almost at the top of your monitor. That's number one. And also your elbow, your hip, and your knee should all be 90 degrees, because 90 degrees biomechanically is the strongest degree to help you to support your body weight. And then lastly, both your feet should be on the ground, because if you either put your toes and then heel on the ground, you actually change the lever point. If you do that long enough, your joint will potentially have issue. And essentially, if your joint have issues, like it affected your knee, affected your hip, then ultimately your spine will have an issue too as well. So always make sure that both your feet are on the ground. Okay. All right. So with that, okay, I want to teach you something that's applicable. Then you can do something right now. So I'm going to walk you through some very easy neck rehab exercise. And if you so desire, I would like you to do it with me. Okay. All right. So first one is called a forward press. All you got to do is just put your palm against your forehead like that. So the arms going backwards, you're pushing back, and your forehead's doing forward. So you're doing this. Nothing is really moving, but both your muscles are engaging and contracting. This is what we call the isometric exercise. You do this for 10 seconds, and then you relax for 20 seconds, and then you do it for 3 times. This is really good to help you to strengthen the back muscle of yours. Okay. Once you have done the forward, now you can also do the backwards. Same thing. You just interlace your fingers, put it against your neck like that. And then again, nothing's really moving, but you're engaging both muscles. And then you do that for 3 times. Okay. And once you've done the forward and backwards, then you're going to do the sideways as well. Okay. So altogether, it adds up about 4 or 5 minutes, but you will serve tremendous benefit for your neck. So that's what we highly recommend that you do it on a daily basis. All right. Okay, so, wow, let me have some water again. Doing a webinar is not easy. You actually get your throat very dry. Okay, all right, so now we have covered the first element, which is chiropractic care. We'll also talk about, we'll also talk about the subluxation. We'll also talk about the sitting posture, and then we'll also talk about some of the very easy neck rehab exercise. And now we're gonna move into the second element of their health, which is nutrition. Oh wow, who is looking for me at this time? I'm just going to turn this off really quick. Sorry about that. Okay, this is all real here. Okay, so we're gonna talk about nutrition. All right, we all know that we wanted to have a good diet. Okay, this is what I consider a very balanced diet, which is what we call the Paleo-Mediterranean diet, which consists of your vegetables, fruits, nuts, berries, seeds, and lean proteins. This is a very balanced diet, and this is also a very good anti-inflammatory diet, which can help you to heal faster. Okay, obviously we wanted to avoid some of the GMO food. We want to avoid sugary food. We also want to avoid some refined processed food. Okay. All right. This is the third time I'm going to hand on him. I'm going to give back to him. Okay. All right. So those are some of the food that we wanted to avoid. But let me ask you this question. Even if you have a very clean diet, okay? Even if you have a very clean diet, just like what we said over here, do you think that you have enough nutrient from your food for your health? Okay? That's a very serious question. Okay. Now, if your answer is no, then unfortunately you are correct. Okay. Let's take a look at this literature over here. This journal was, this medical literature was published in Journal of American College of Nutrition back in 2004. Basically, what it did is that they tested 43 different garden crops between 1950 to 1999. Okay. So what I wanted to do is they wanted to examine the micronutrients if they increase or decrease over time. And unfortunately, what they found out was that all the micronutrients have decreased over time. Okay, as you can see, follow with my cursor over here, it said that decline in the median range from the 6% from the protein to 38% for the riboflavin, which is the vitamin B. That is why we're no longer getting enough nutrient from our foods anymore. And that is also why in our office, we always recommend nutritional support for your healing because they are needed. Okay, they're not supplemental. They actually become essential for your health. Okay, and that is why in our office, we have what we call the essential 6, which we're going to go into that right now. But before we talk about the essential 6, I do want you to know that if you wanted to purchase supplement or nutritional products, it is always better for you to purchase from your practitioner or doctors. The reason is because these products, they are not FDA regulated. None of the supplements is FDA regulated. That means that the factories or vendors, they can put a lot of fillers in the bottle. You don't even know. Sometimes it can potentially be harm to your body. That's why it is always recommended for you to get it from your doctor. Yes, it's true. Sometimes you do have to pay a little bit more, but you know you're getting a good quality product because it's from the trusted sources. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the essential 6. Number 1 is a quality multivitamin. Your body needs a little bit of everything in order to work. And that's why this is really part of a foundation. Okay, this is non-negotiable. And number 2 is EPA and DHA, which collectively we know that as omega-3. Now we all know that omega-3 is very vital for your health because it is good for your heart, it is good for your brain, it is good for your eyes. But most people don't know that omega-3 also have a very strong pain reduction ability. Okay, there was a study that compared omega-3 to some very popular over-the-counter medication like ibuprofen, aspirin, and Tylenol. What they found out was that omega-3 actually have just as good a pain reduction ability compared to these drugs, and yet omega-3 is a lot safer and it provides a lot more benefits. That's why omega-3 is highly recommended. Okay. Next one is magnesium. Magnesium is really essential for your health because magnesium is responsible for more than 300 chemical reactions in the body. So when you're magnesium deficient, your body can manifest many different conditions like a muscle cramp, like an irregular heartbeat, to all the way up to the mood disorder. That's why magnesium is so important. Okay. And the next one is vitamin D3. We all know that vitamin D3 is very important for your health. and it's getting a lot of traction and research within the last 20 to 30 years. That's because vitamin D3 is responsible for a lot of body systems. We'll talk about your immune system, we'll talk about your respiratory system, we'll talk about your digestive system. That's why vitamin D is essential. Yeah, it is true that you can get some vitamin D from the sunshine, but it is also true that we'll stay indoor all the time, and when we do go out, we cover ourselves with clothes. That's why we don't get enough vitamin D. Okay, and the next one up is vitamin K. Now, if you're taking vitamin D, it is highly recommended you're taking vitamin K with it, because what vitamin D does is that it brings calcium from your blood into your body, so we can start using the calcium efficiently. But what happens is that the vitamin D can put calcium into the wrong places like a kidney. Then you can potentially get kidney stone. And put it into your joint, then you can potentially get what we call the osteoarthritis. That's why with the vitamin K presence, the vitamin K will tell calcium to go into the places that they should go. So that's why we can use calcium efficiently that way. Okay. And the last one is hypoallergenic protein powder. Because day in and day out, we're wearing down our muscles. That's why we need to have a good protein to replenish them. And what we recommend the hypoallergenic isolated whey protein, so your body can use that efficiently. Okay. All right. So this is what we call the essential 6. This should apply to the general population. Of course, if you have any special conditions, then we should have a private discussion to see if this is suitable for you. Okay. And of course, many of you come in because you have joint issues, right? We'll talk about your sprained ankle, your shoulder, your wrist, your lower back. Last one, we'll also have a joint recovery protocols. And number one is Licoplex 2. And Licoplex 2 is a product. It has a lot of manganese. Now, manganese is essential for you to strengthen your ligaments. That is why we highly recommend, because ligament is part of your joint structure. That's why we highly recommend manganese. And then number 2 is glucose amine synergy. Glucose amine synergy is basically, this is a nutrition for the joint. That's why we combo that with Licoplex 2. And this is really good to help you to recover your joint issues. Okay. And then of course, this is nutritional support on top of your, of course, a clean diet, which is what we call the paleo-Mediterranean diet. Man, webinar is tiring. Whew. Oh, all right. Keep chugging along. Here we go. Okay. So now we cover the specific chiropractic care. Now we'll also talk about the nutrition, which is your eat well. Now we're going to go into the phases of care. The reason I want to cover the phases of care is because many of you come in, you have a pain, right? And once we start take care, you will remove the subluxation, you get better, you function better, and you drop off, right? If your goal is to get out of the pain, which is fine, this is what we call the crisis care. But just keeping in mind, if you don't give me enough time to work with you, if we didn't really do the appropriate change in the structure, then there's a chance that the pain can potentially come back in the future, right? That's why we will let you take you from what we call the crisis care into what we call the corrective care, where you give me enough time to work with you, then we can help you to stabilize your joints, we can support your joint, we can make the appropriate correction, and then ultimately what we can do the what we call the wellness care, which what we do is what we call the periodic checkup of your spine to make sure that your spine is in the right alignment so there's no setback in the future. Okay. Yeah, so I always like to use teeth as a great example for this idea. Now, if your teeth misaligned, you go see an orthodontist and they put a brace on you. Now, the duration can go from 6 months to all the way to 2 years, 3 years, sometimes even 4 years. Is because they don't know. It's really based on base, right? That's why they do the evaluation. But what happens is that if you take off your brace too soon, then potentially you can revert back to where you started. Then now you basically just waste a lot of time, energy, and effort and money too as well. Same thing for the chiropractic care. So again, most people come in because they have a pain, and that's what we call the crisis care. As you can see, we help you take care of the pain. So you get out of the pain, and then if you stop coming in, you can potentially have a pain again, as you see what we call this behind the cycle, right? So where we'd like to take you is what we call the correction care. With it's the yellow card, you go to the correction, and then help you to stabilizing and strengthening and the support. And then ultimately we want to get to the green, which is what we call the wellness care, that we see you periodically once a month just to make sure that your spine is good, okay? And then ultimately that's the difference between the chiropractic care compared to other medical profession, because what other medical profession are so focusing taking care of your pain and diseases. But what chiropractic care, what we focus on is we'll focus on the alignment, we'll focus on the function, we'll focus on the wellness, and then ultimately we'll focus on what we call the preventative medicine, which is really the true essence of a health care, okay? All right, so this is pretty much summarized what I just talked about, but what I do want to highlight on the top, where it says that health problems frequently takes time to develop, therefore they take time to heal. And then also on the bottom over here, so you can see that prevention is easier than restoration. With the periodic checkups, small problem stays small. And that's why the true essence of chiropractic care is to help you to stay healthy, stay well, and to stay ahead again to truly achieve what we call the preventative medicine. Okay. Whew. All right. So this brings now to the last slide. We'll come to the conclusion of our webinar for today. So after today, it is my wish that you have walk away with some pearls so you can start to take care of your spine better, right? Because we always tell patients that your health is your responsibility. It's not mine, it's not medical doctors, but it's you. So if you don't take care of your health, then who would it? And if you don't start today, then when would you, right? So be very proactive about your health. So take action, all right? So if you like today's webinar, I hope you do, okay? We'll also like to invite you to come back to our next webinar, which is gonna be on July 15th, okay? And we're gonna be talking about chiropractic care. Then we're also gonna talk about exercise, which is the third element of your healthier life, okay? And if you really, really like this webinar and would like to ask you to invite your friends and the family to jump on that webinar so they can learn more about their health so we can all be healthy together, right? Okay, and then also as a token of appreciation, I would also like to offer a special deal for people who are not part of practice member just yet. So what we do is we would like you to come in to get your spine checked, because we know it is too important for your spine not to get checked. So for the initial consultation, which we do a pretty comprehensive examination and a history taking, and we're also going to do the nerve scan, we're going to do the muscle scan, and we're also going to do the full spine X-ray analysis with a reported finding, okay? All that, if you wanted to sign up for the new patient consultation, you're entitled for a $50 off, okay? Now, if you're already a practice member, we appreciate that you give us a chance to work with you. You can also give this special deal to the friends and family members who can potentially benefit from what we do, okay? All they got to do is just go online and do the new patient initial consultation, choose a location, Campbell, it's for Campbell only, and then type in the code ICON-July50, and they will get that $50 off initial consultation, okay? So with that, I hope you learned something today, and we're here to help. We're here to serve. If there's anything that we can help out with, just let me know. Otherwise, I wish you a great night, and I hope to see you in the office soon, and stay healthy. I will see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, cut it off.